What is good, Fantasyland? We are back in the daylight draft room. I'm JD. Let me get set up here. Last minute draft as usual. On the old drafters, $10 buy-in, $25,000 for first. We pulled the 10 spot. Let me just get quickly set up here. There we go. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully you guys catch this on time to join the live stream. All right. So for those who don't know, this is a 3 receiver, 2 running back, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, 1 flex, PPR. Let me just put the old phone on mute. Let me change my eyes so I can see the actual screen. Literally jumped out of the shower just now and saw there was a draft filling, so I thought I'd get on here and get something going for you guys. If you're in the chat, let me know you're there. Let me know your thoughts as we go through this draft. We love getting feedback. If you watch this later on, drop it in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. I'm doing at least 3 live drafts a week. A couple of them on drafters. And then, of course, on the FFPC. If you missed yesterday's draft with Dan Williamson, the overhyped sleeper, actually it was on Saturday. We did a 125 buy-in, 40,000 for first. Make sure you check that out on this channel. All right, just getting my screen set up here so we can mostly to check my ownership, to be honest, at this point of this tournament. It's been going for a while. There we go. All right. Hopefully you guys can see the screen all right. So this is a good time right now. From now until the rookie draft, a lot of these earlier best ball tournaments are ending. So this is kind of a good time to be jumping into them. They're filling in. I know the $3 mini on this specific platform on drafters just filled over the weekend. I think I got into like the last slow. And I was trying to get a few of the fast drafts in there. If you're not already on drafters, make sure you... Let me get that up for you guys. Where are we here? All right, let me make my pick, and then we'll get to it. I don't think I have a lot of... Yeah, let's go neighbors here. Let's go neighbors. We don't have much neighbors actually because we usually end up too far in the back of the second half when I am in the second half, and he usually doesn't fall to the 10th, 11th. So we'll start off with a little neighbors action. Get this a little bigger here. We're back on the clock. All right, usual. It's pretty much anytime I'm at the back end, I'm deciding between these guys. A-Chain, Henry, Taylor, and McBride. Yeah, I'm gonna switch it up and go McBride here. I was avoiding McBride for a bit because I had quite a bit of him, but That was more in the first one. Is this the second one? No, I'm thinking about the minis. So again, not super heavy on many players right now. When I look at this tournament, my most owned player is like 26%. So nothing too crazy. Of course, one of those is Cedric Tillman. Of course, my boy Tillman in Cleveland. We'll see. They just signed Flacco, so that at least gives him a floor. But starting it off here, all right, I'm not feeling this beat. Let's move on to the next one here. So by Flacco going to the Browns, and I talked about this with Dan when we were on Saturday, at least it gives those weapons like Njoku, Tillman, Judy, gives them a floor. But we'll see if they do anything in the draft. They've got Pickett there. I was just hoping it wasn't going to be Pickett who started. He could still start, but we'll see how that happens. Especially after the draft, we'll have a better idea. All right, where was I here? I wanted to make a little adjustment here. There we go. I know you guys want to see my pretty face, so I'll make myself a little bigger there. All right, a little better with the beats. So after 2, we've got Neighbors, McBride, start to this draft. 1 spot, pissing yellow with Chase, Hill, and DJ Moore. You got Barkley, Irving, and Wilson in the 2 spot. Little anchor RB in the 3 spot with Bijan. See what falls back to us at the back end of the first here in the 10 spot. Breece Hall keeps falling, and I've been taking him quite a bit. Let me just see where I'm at with his ownership. Yeah, we've got enough of Hall. Worthy, we are not as heavy as we'd like, so we're going to grab ourselves a bit of Worthy here. So Neighbors Worthy combo is pretty sweet at the receiver position. Trey McBride, obviously one of those top 2 tight ends. This is not tight end premium, but I feel like it's him, Bowers, and Kittle pretty much in that first tier. I talk about my love for Kittle enough times in the previous drafts. Make sure you go check those out. There's a bunch on the channel right now. We had a bit of a tech issue on Saturday with Dan, like a bit of an echo on his end, but from what I understand, everyone in the chat was saying it was pretty clear with what he was saying. It wasn't too annoying, so go check that out. A lot of value in there. Dan's a big-time high-stakes drafter. My previous co-host with the GOAT District, and we tag team a Never Too Early on that channel, or on in that draft. Yeah, let's go Hampton here. Have quite a bit of Hampton when he was going later. But with this tournament specifically, not as much as I'd like. So I don't mind taking him at cost right now. Again, once he lands, you'll see a lot of these rookies fly up the ADPs. I'm not feeling this playlist today. Let me switch this up for you guys. I don't know if it's my mood. I don't know if it's just the songs that are coming on. I got it on shuffle, but I am not feeling it. Let's go over here and see what this is like. Some hip-hop action in the background here. Shout out to the Stream Beats on Spotify. get limited with what you can play in the background of these streams. So I think these will go a little better with the mood. Let me know what you think. You like the house? You prefer the hip hop? So after 4, we've got Murray and Hampton, Neighbors, Worthy, and McBride. Anchor it up with one of these stud rookie running backs. I don't mind doing that at all with the strength of this class. The thing is with these builds is you can take rookies early, you can build without rookies early, but you want to balance out your rosters, right? There was a comment in our draft, I believe it was the draft that Dan and I did on Saturday, but about some of the later picks that we took. Good buddy Wheeler, who's, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's one of the best rankers in the game, and he's definitely a sharp fantasy guy, best ball guy. But he was just saying he preferred a couple rookies to the picks that we made, but it was really just about balancing out the roster, right? Which is, you definitely want to balance your roster, because you only take rookies. You've got a big chunk at the start of the season where you might not get the production you need from a few of these guys. So I'm always looking to balance my rosters, almost like the same way the NFL bring in like a bridge quarterback. I'm bridging my action when it comes to these rookies. So if I'm going heavy rookie early, I'm probably going to go vet later on, again, to bridge that production so that I'm covering my season. In drafters especially, you're not really looking at a playoff. There's no week 17, week 15 to week 17 playoff. I'm going to need a DJ today. I don't know about this one either. We'll let it play a little longer, but this might get shuffled to the next beat. All right, I'm going to throw Tet. Should be the first receiver off the board. As much as people are saying Golden to Dallas, I still like Tet as the number 1. I apologize for the beats today. I don't know what's going on. Usually they're pretty good. For like a free streaming playlist, they're not bad. But today, just not feeling what we've heard so far. So let's see what falls back to us. I'm going to get another one of these studs. We've taken quite a bit of Caleb, so let's go with Judkins here. So Hampton and Judkins to start. Not too heavy with Judkins, 11% so far with the ownership. Let's check out Tet here. Yeah, Tet a little heavier at 16%, but we don't mind it. He's going to be getting that first round draft capital most likely. Should be going to an offense where he's going to be playing right off the bat. Grab some water here. Let me know what you think of the start so far, guys. If you're watching live, jump in the chat. If you watch this later on, I'm not expecting much live action because I literally just jumped in. Didn't even put anything on the X machine, nothing, no warning. So most of you guys will probably be watching this later on. Appreciate you guys checking in and watching the streams. If you want to keep supporting the channel, smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of them. So we've got Hampton, Judkins start. Neighbors, Worthy, McMillan, and then McBride at tight end. I didn't even check to see if there's anyone we know. Oh, we've got a beach baller in here. So another fellow baller. Otherwise, I'm not recognizing any names. Peanut Punch has been in a few of the drafts that I've jumped in. He's been my neighbor in a couple of them, which is pretty funny. So it's going to be interesting. The draft's coming up really quick. And we get to see where a lot of these guys are going to land. How high are these running backs going to go? How many are going to go in the first round? Receivers, same thing. You're hearing like, you know, Tet, Golden, most likely first rounders. We'll see. The quarterbacks, I mean, Shador keeps dropping on mocks. Again, not feeling it. Not feeling it today. Let's see if we can get a different vibe going here. Might just be the I need something a little more chill here. Let's see. All right. I'm feeling this. What's up, Jamie? Jamie's always in the lives, man. I appreciate Jamie always supporting. Make sure you check out Dynasty 6-Pack on the YouTube machine. They're dropping every Wednesday night. And they go deep, man. Deep Dynasty, deep rookie dives. Make sure you check them out with my boy Kyle. Always happy to have you in the chat, Jamie. I was just saying, I just went live, didn't even post anything. Got out of the shower and I noticed there's a couple spots left in a draft, so I thought I'd jump in, get a stream in. We're approaching the end of this. Let's see where we're at right now. I've got a few slow drafts going. Man, Caleb makes it back to us here, eh? I might try something naughty. We might try something naughty. So there are actually the $10 the $10 buy-in, the 25K is at 9,400 right now. So just under 14,000 entries for that tournament. I think everyone kind of rushed into that $3 mini because it was filling in really quick. We got let me see how many. Oh, we're back on the clock. All right, there we go. We're gonna double tap the QBs and go Mahomes, Murray, so we get Worthy stacked, McBride. I could have taken Kelsey there, but I've already got McBride. As much as I don't usually go double tap early on the quarterbacks, at least this way, I don't have to worry about a third. Leaves me an open spot. And I like McBride. I mean, he's a monster at the position. Just got a huge contract. You got to think that keeps going. I like stacking him with Murray. I don't think I have enough of either of these guys with Mahomes. I like Mahomes this year. I mean, I didn't really last year, but with Rice coming back, Worthy there, Kelsey's back, you got to think they add something in the draft. We'll see. They might surprise us. All right, a little more chill with the beats. I don't mind it. So far we've got Mahomes and Murray double tap in the 7th and 8th. We've got Hampton, Judkins, Neighbors, Worthy, Tet, and McBride. So pretty balanced roster. I've got basically my quarterbacks are set. My anchor tight end is set. I'm anchoring these running backs with a couple rookies. And then we've got our 3 studs at receivers with a rookie in the 3 spot. So we'll see now. It's for the rest of this, we're basically looking to stack. We're looking to balance, add depth. I don't mind throwing in some divisional stacks in these. Again, because it's not a playoff. You're just looking at full season, 17 weeks, highest point total. So we'll see how this finishes off. But again, you want to make sure you balance out these rosters so that you're filling out a whole season. You don't want to just go full rookie at running back or I've built some pretty crazy ones where, you know, I've gotten my anchor will be one of those top guys, and then I'll smash like 3 or 4 rookie running backs, but then I'll throw in like a couple vets at the end, again, just to balance that out. Jordan Mason still climbing up the boards. He's now in the single-digit rounds. That's crazy. Yeah, my ADP on Mason is 131. And he's in the queue right now at like pick 101 at the top of the queue. So that's pretty crazy. I got nice value on him. His ADP is actually 97.9. So pretty happy with that value. Doesn't mean I'll necessarily stop drafting him. But I just like getting those shares that are at a really nice value versus the field. The key with Mason and Harris, Najee, was getting them before they signed with their new teams, right? And you're trying to do that now with the rookies. So we're coming back on the clock here in the 9th round. Oh, there we go. Actually, I'm going to mix in Charbonnet here. So we already have our 2 rookies. Charbonnet, who knows what happens in that Seattle offense. I've been sprinkling him quite a bit lately in my builds, especially when I go running backs early. He could easily give you kind of that David Montgomery type of season in that Seattle offense. Obviously not as high-powered offense, but playing that role with Walker. Or he could straight up split. You know, there's a lot of different ways that could go. There's a guy I'm not drafting a lot at all is Pacheco, but because we have Mahomes and Dan was trying to sell me on him on Saturday, I'm going to throw him into this build. He kind of balances out nicely with, again, you're telling a story, right? I always say with these best ball teams, each build is an individual story that you're telling. So let's say KC decides they're not going to invest heavily at running back, which I doubt they will. Pacheco does get that opportunity again to kind of lock in that spot. I know they brought in Hunt again, but you got to think he's going to give you those spike weeks. He's my RB4, so it's not like I'm looking for a consistent production week to week from him, but I think he can give you enough spike weeks in this, you know, quote unquote story. So check out the RPO fantasy show, guys. IDP and offense with Jamie. They've got Jagrume from Fast Draft joining them in their next show. So make sure you check that out on YouTube. We had Dan on Saturday. Unfortunately, the show I did with Peanut Punch, Aaron Fernandez, I sent it to people who tried editing it, fixing that echo. I don't know what the echo thing is. I'm still thinking it's on the guest side of it. I've got to test mine out with someone. I've got that happening in the next 24 to 48 hours, so I'll know if that's on my end or if it's with the guests. Because I did have, what's his name? I had Joe Carlton from Sports Affiliation join me on a live draft, and we had no issues with the echo. So always the tech part, the production part of these live stream producing content always keeps you on your toes as a content producer. So I'll get that ironed out, and we're going to start smashing the guests, whether it's live drafts, one-on-ones, specific topics. I got a list of ideas for shows that are going to be coming out. I know I've been promising it. It's just this tech thing has been kind of slowing it down a bit. So I don't want to just start releasing a bunch of stuff that's not up to par quality-wise for you guys. So once we get that tweaked, you're going to start seeing the content pumping out. So look out for that. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of that. We're going to get some of the best drafters on the planet to join me. Talk best ball, dynasty, redraft. It's a little better with the grooves. All right. So Jamie thinks it's on my end, so I'm gonna have to figure something out. I'll have to play with that on my end the next day or two and figure out what the deal is. That's too bad. I'm using a new software and it's been great overall. It's just those 2 times I've had a guest on, I've had an issue. So 2 out of the 3. So we'll get that fixed up and start pumping out the content apart from me on the solo drafts. These solo drafts will keep coming out. I just love drafting best balls, so that'll be going on all off season. We'll do a couple of the big gorillas. Dan and I have a main that we have to do together, so I'll try to get that on the stream as well. I'm gonna go with Jaden Higgins here. 11th round, I think, is still pretty good. He should be a 2nd round pick in this draft. So we have a couple vets and Neighbors and Worthy, and then a couple rookies in Tet and Higgins. So we can balance that out pretty nicely as we add depth to the receiving room. I actually really like Spears. I'm going to take Spears here. It's funny because on FFPC, Spears and Jordan Mason go right around the same spot. And here, actually, Spears is a nice value because this is what, the 12th? I just took Mason in a 125. Yeah, in the 11th. Yeah, I guess so. They're kind of going around the same spot. I guess I was deciding between those two in that spot. So I thought maybe Spears was at a better value, but we're in the 12th round now and he's still not off the board. So far after 12 rounds, we've got Mahomes and Murray as our 2 captains, quarterbacks. We have Hampton, Judkins, Charbonnet, Pacheco, and Spears. So a nice balance in that running back room. Neighbors, Worthy, McMillan, Tet, and Jaden Higgins at receiver. And then we've got our anchor tight end in Trey McBride. So far, I'm pretty happy with the build. Let me know what you guys think with the build. If you watch this later on, drop it in the comments. Always appreciate comments. I'll answer you guys. We can tell me what you like, don't like. Got the afternoon Americano going, little HCT oil in there. Always black. Once you go black, you don't go back, man. That's a fact. As soon as I started drinking black coffee, never went back. But MCT oil is, you don't really taste it. It's just added benefit. Makes it the consistency a little different. I'm an Americano guy. I'll use like a French press. Drop some hot water in there. Grind my own beans. And then I use the Delta beans, Portuguese coffee. Nice and strong. Let it sit in the hot water for a couple minutes. And then that's it. Dump it in the coffee. Throw the MCT oil and ready to go. Ready to draft. It's funny. I get in this range, and everybody looks like somebody that I just been drafting way too much of. So Leggett goes off the board. Tillman, you guys know I love Tillman. He fits this build really nicely. We'll take Tillman again here. I actually don't mind Strange here. Yeah, let's go Strange. And there's one more guy at tight end that I might take, but I'm not desperately needing a tight end at this point. Strange is not a bad tight end one, especially in the 14th round. But there's one more guy I might try to add just as a third. Again, you're just trying to fill the bye weeks if McBride misses a week or two. Pretty rough position, the tight end position, so it is possible. Yeah, Jamie says, I like Strange. He can put up top 10 weeks. Agreed. They didn't re-sign Ingram for a reason, right? They know what they have in Strange. Do they bring in a tight end in the draft? It's possible. The tight end position this year is, deep enough with some pretty good quality tight ends. I actually like a few of the tight ends in this year's draft. I usually sprinkle them into my builds depending on how my build starts. And this is definitely a build I could sprinkle in a rookie with upside in the tight end 3 spot, but I like Strange to kind of fill in the blanks, or the whole, not the blanks, but the, let's say McMillan has a down week, which actually I'm curious to see what kind of, yeah, you're right. Definitely right with that. Tight end position last year especially was pretty weak. Average was 15 points per game for the top guys. Let's take a look at McBride to see how many week tight end 1 weeks he gave you out of his starts. Just to give you an idea. So 12 out of the 16 weeks that McBride played, he gave you top, tight end 1 production. I'm just looking at what that production looks like. So the floor for that is like 11 points. So you're not wrong there, Jamie. And then he gave you like a 30 point week, a 25 point week, and everything else was below 21 points, and kind of in that middle. So actually, week 1 he was a tight end 1, and it was an 8-pointer. So that gives you an idea of how strong the position was last year. I think with the rookie tight ends coming in and the quality that we see coming in, some of the movement that we see, like Ingram going to Denver, Gesicki's obviously back in Cincinnati, but I feel like we're going to hopefully get more production from these guys, the tight ends this year in 2025. I'm actually gonna go Kyle Williams here. I really like Kyle Williams. So we've got a third rookie receiver, but then I've got options on the way back. Wicks, I was considering it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens in Green Bay. Do they bring in a young rookie receiver? I've got some Wicks. He just doesn't necessarily fit this build. Like if I'm looking at... So we could go Demi Brown. We've already got kind of that a bit of a Jackson build there. Tolbert is always nice in this range. And then, of course, we've got Slayton. You know what? I don't think I have any Demi Brown. Kirk is gone. The only thing there right now is BTJ, really, at the receiving position. Gabe Davis, I'm not the biggest fan. And I'm not the biggest fan of Demi Brown, don't get me wrong. But they've brought it in. They brought him in. He's a new addition to that offense. We should see that offense take a step forward this year as opposed to last year. So I don't hate it to give me like a couple weeks, maybe. Might get hate for that pick in the chat, but I don't mind it. I'm all for it. Let me have it. Just trying to see what... Yeah, pretty ugly pick, not gonna lie. But again, in this range, going to a new offense, maybe they use them. Usually in this range, I'm taking Tolbert, I'm taking Slayton, which I could have taken Slayton with the Neighbors start. Tolbert, I feel like I have. Yeah, not too heavy on him. We could have gone Tolbert there with. All right, it's all good. It's all good. He'll give us that one big week, and we'll be happy with it. It gets pretty funky, man, pretty quick at the receiver position down here. Because I've got some rookie receivers early, I don't want to just smash the rookies. I picked up Kyle Williams. So that was more just to kind of balance out that beginning of the season, you know, middle of the season, trying to look at the different levels of the build. So probably not my favorite pick, but it's all good, man. We're going to be adding, what are we at right now? 2, 4, 6... So we've got 7 receivers so far. We don't necessarily need to add that third tight end if we don't necessarily get who we want. Let's see where he falls right now. Let me see. Haha. What's up, man? Appreciate you joining, buddy. Just got home from work. Appreciate you always joining the streams. The support is hugely appreciated, man. Trying to see where this guy is that I was thinking. Yeah, I guess it's one of those hedges. I'm not a Gabe Davis guy, and I feel like they brought him in for a reason. In Demi, I mean. Not my proudest moment, Jamie. I'm not gonna lie, but last thing you want is a 0 on your build. So I'm actually going to go Michael Wilson here since we have Murray. So we've got Murray, Wilson. And McBride for the Arizona stack. What round are we? 18. Might try to push it one more. Let's see what we can add here. Yeah, Fannin was a guy I was considering. I'm just going to take Noah Gray there. That's kind of who I was looking for as my third tight end with the Mahomes. Again, when you have McBride, he gave you, like I said, last year, 12 weeks of tight end one production. But that doesn't always look awesome. So we passed on Kelsey. If Kelsey, for whatever reason, gets injured or they start mixing in Noah Gray a lot more than they have, which I could easily see because they're not probably expecting Kelsey to be back another season after that. So Noah Gray is kind of a back end of the season play, second half play. So I like that mix at tight end with McBride, Strange, and Gray. We've got our two quarterbacks in Murray and Mahomes. Running backs, we've got Hampton, Judkins, Charbonnet, Pacheco, and Spears. Nice little balance there. We have 2 more picks left, so we'll see what falls to us. We're not really desperate at any position. Just check something out here. So starting the 19th round, you see a nice little run of tight ends there for those depth pieces. Conklin, now he's with the Chargers. Pretty sure they'll add something at the tight end position in this draft. How early they go tight end will be interesting to see, but you got to think Conklin will at least give you kind of that first half of the season production, maybe the first third. He could go the whole season, right? Tight end, you never know. Even if they do go high at tight end in the rookie draft, these guys do sometimes take time to develop and start producing. So we're coming back on the clock here. Again, we're at 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 8 receivers, and 3 tight ends. Not super desperate at any position, really. Oh no, that is not what we wanted. The good old auto draft on the stream. Those are ugly. So we get Shedeur Sanders. Not only is it a position we don't want, I was trying to look at, there was a receiver I thought I saw. Oh man, that's ugly. Okay, I'm definitely going to go receiver here. Let me make sure I don't time out again. Okay, my eyes are playing tricks on me here. All right. Yeah, that's pretty ugly at getting Shador in there. But you know what? Who knows? Who knows at the end of the day? We were going to go with the 2 quarterback build. I would have liked to add another running back, to be honest, instead of that Shador pick. But at the same time, we're really leaning into these 2 rookies to anchor this build with Hampton and Judkins. So as long as they kind of come in and give us that early production, early enough, we've got Charbonnet, Pacheco, Spears to start us off early season. So I'm not that concerned about it, but I guess the 2 mistakes, the first thing I'll do every time I do one of these is pick out, kind of my mistakes. So the De'Ami Brown obviously is not a pick that I'm proud of. So that's probably the one I'd like to throw back. Westbrook Akine in Miami. I mean, you already see Tyreek in the news, and who knows what happens if I know he's got like a domestic situation now, so who knows what happens there. But Westbrook Akine was a touchdown machine last year. And I like adding him to the back end of some of these builds, especially when I'm looking for depth at receiver. Very happy with my tight ends with McBride, Strange, and Noah Gray. Especially we've got McBride and Gray stacked to our top 2 receivers. I mean, I guess we could think Shador maybe goes to the Giants at some point, and then we've got the Neighbors Shador stack. But really the part that structurally I would have liked to make Shador into a running back. That's kind of the one thing that I would change other than the De'Ami Brown pick. So I'll read it off. Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Shador Sanders, Hampton, Judkins, Charbonnet, Pacheco, Spears, Neighbors, Worthy, Tet, Higgins, Tillman, Kyle Williams, De'Ami, Michael Wilson, Westbrook Akine, McBride, Strange, and Gray. So, I mean, apart from the De'Ami Brown and the Shador pick, I don't hate this build at all. Everything else is pretty nice. Pretty nice and balanced. Some nice upside picks in there. My top 2 studs are nice and Neighbors and Worthy at the receiver position. So, really, we'll see what happens. Maybe Shador does do something this year, ends up in a good spot, and fills in maybe the bye weeks nicely. Maybe Murray and Mahomes end up on a similar bye week or something like that, and then Shador gets to fill in for them. So you never know how these will turn out, but overall, I don't hate it that much. All right, let's stay on stream here. I'm on the clock for 1 pick here. This is another $10 buy-in. So for this one, I started A-Chain, Breece Hall, Chase Brown, Caleb Johnson, Neighbors, Tet. Oh, there we go. We got Neighbors and Tet on this one too. Debo, Burden, and then Jonnu at tight end. So let's see what we're going to do here. So we've got Tet, Burden. Jonnu's anchoring the tight end position. The running backs are pretty good so far. At quarterback, there's nothing really that's tying into our build. I mean, I do like Drake May. Let's see where we are here. We're coming back. So we're not picking for a while. Yeah, you know what? That's actually pretty sneaky. That if I was going to put a third, that's a great point, Jamie. If I was going to put a third quarterback on that last build, Flacco would have probably been a nice one because he's probably not moved up yet in a lot of these ADPs, in a lot of these draft rooms. And again, do I think Pickett's going to beat him out? I don't know, man. Like you said, Flacco is putting up top 10 numbers. They've got Tillman. You mentioned Njoku, Judy. Yeah, that's not a bad point at all. And you know what? If I think back to that Shador, I mean, look, who knows? Maybe Cleveland takes Shador and maybe he ends up kind of playing at the back end of that season. and he does help me out. But if I was going to add a third quarterback in that last build, it probably would have been Flacco. Would have been a pretty good one. The thing with Flacco, and what Dan and I were talking about on Saturday, is that he adds like a floor now for these guys. They only had Pickett there, and depending on what they do in the draft, let's say they do end up grabbing Shador, whether it's in the second round or maybe they trade back into the back end of the first round to get him. I don't think they're going to do it with their second pick, with the number 2 pick. I mean, who knows, right? But the thing with Flacco is he offers floor for all those guys. You're not thinking like, oh man, we're going in with Pickett, and that's it at the position if they don't get what they want in the draft. So there's still upside there. You still have guys like Dart out there in the rookie drafts. We'll see what happens at the end of the month in Green Bay. But for this one right now, like, Mooney's not bad with my receivers because I've got a couple rookies. I've got Neighbors in there. Let's take a little scroll down here. I do like Loveland a lot. Warren and Loveland are both there. I could easily grab a rookie tight end right now, or I could grab Mooney. Let me just see what teams I'm drafting here. Denver. Yeah, on the quarterback end of things, I really don't have anything that ties in like stack-wise. And we're not picking for a while, so it's not like I can really plan for one at this point. Goff in the 10th. Let me see what his... He's actually at a bit of a value here. He's going around the 103, 104. Jordan Mason, I feel like I just keep drafting too much of him. Let me just see where... Yeah, that's, I mean, still pretty good value with him. Yeah, Warren goes pretty much around this range. Do I even have any Mooney? I think Mooney might be the... I've got one share of Mooney so far in this. That would open up... Let's see, we have the Giants... Let's go look at Mooney real quick. See what he did. I know he had a really hot start to the season. So he had that. Yeah, see that. I feel like it's. So he had basically 2 wide receiver 1 weeks for you. In week 5, he put up 31 against Tampa, and then 19 against Dallas in week 9. He had 4 wide receiver 2 weeks between 14 and 20 points. Jamie's having fun in the chat. So again, he gives you those spike weeks. Penix comes in this year, could make it a little more consistent. You know what? I like Mooney in this. We don't have a lot of them. It's either Mooney or one of the rookie tight ends. That's kind of where I'm leaning right now. I don't think I need to go quarterback yet. I mean, Kraft is always a nice option. He's going a bit later. He kind of goes mid-11th. All right, let's go Mooney here. I keep looking at Mason. That's why I'm stalling here. All right, I got enough Mason bags. let's go Mooney here. We'll add a bit of Mooney to this build. We do have those 2 rookies in there with McMillan and Burden. So a nice little balance with Neighbors, Samuel, and Mooney to kind of start us off early season. Jonnu, I mean, he's a pretty good anchor. Jonnu last year was pretty much a surprise, but man, he was nice. I had him on some dynasty rosters, and he just carried me at the position. Jonnu gave you 9. Wow. If you look at the back end from week 11 to week 18, he gave you 2, 4, 6, 7 of the 8 last weeks. He was a tight end 1 for you. Like a floor for him was like 11, 12 points, up to 28 fantasy points. Week 7 against Indy gave you 22. I mean, even without Tua, they leaned on him quite a bit. Jamie, are you having a conversation with yourself in the chat? I feel like that's what's going on right now. There you go. We'll give you another plug. Jamie. Go check out Dynasty 6-Pack Wednesday nights with Kyle and Jamie. Yeah, he's totally having fun with himself there. But in all seriousness, they do put out some good Dynasty content, so make sure you go check them out. All right, so we made our pick. We on the clock for anything else? Next one is what, 5 away? So that'll do it for today, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you drop in the comments what you think of the build. Obviously, I'm always going to critique myself after these builds. The De'Ami Brown pick was probably my worst pick of the offseason so far. We'll see. I mean, he's still pretty young. I know he's kind of repetitive with Gabe Davis, but there's really nothing in that Jacksonville receiving room. So we'll see if he pops. We just need him to pop 1 or 2 weeks to make it worth that pick. Otherwise, the Shador auto pick was a little dirty on that last build. But hopefully you guys like the rest of that build. Make sure you smash the like, the subscribe. We're going to be coming back this week with at least another couple of these builds, and we'll start getting those guests on for you guys. So have a good rest of afternoon, and we'll check you all later.